Let's say this is like high expectation, Abby. Then this is like average expectation. My expectations were here, like in fact, on the floor. You will pay tax, you will pay bills, mortgage, rent, this one, water bill, light bill, council tax, this one. So I get to the UK, I'll buy the latest iPhone, I'll get a car, buy a house, glass windows, soft bottom, soft girl. Hi guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're here for the first time, hello, my name is Busari Moliayo. I am a Nigerian living in Scotland, United Kingdom. On this channel, I film content related to nursing, healthcare, and my life generally as a registered nurse. And lately on my channel, for the past 6 months, I have been coming from time to time to talk about my relocation from Nigeria, my home country, to Scotland in the United Kingdom, talking about the steps, the process, everything that I've done. I'm going to leave the link to the playlist containing all those videos talking about my supporting statements and all in the description box below and somewhere up here. In today's video, I am giving you a 6 months life update. What has been going on? How did I find the UK? How did I find Scotland? Was it bad? Was it nice? What exactly happened? How did I settle? At the bills a lot, the way people say? Is it manageable? Have I gotten a new car? Have I gotten a new house? Did I buy? What did I buy? Like everything about what has been happening in UK, especially my expectation versus reality, and also incorporating some of the questions that I got from my followers on Instagram and WhatsApp about the whole lifestyle in Scotland. So if you're interested in that, watch till the very end. So I got to the UK the final week of November 2023, and this is May 2024. It's nearly 6 months. Like in a couple of weeks, it's going to be 6 months. And that is a very, very long time if you want to consider the fact that I moved from a place where I was very comfortable, living with friends, living with family, a community, or a country that I understood how the system works, to an entirely new place, different people, like people who don't even look like me. So that is like a huge shift. It's a huge shift in my work because my workplace is different. I have to talk to different set of people who had different upbringings, different cultural values, different lifestyle from me, and I had to adjust. So I've been doing a whole lot of adjusting, but to be sincere, to be very honest, I have adjusted very well. It has been actually a very positive experience. My experience in relocating and settling down has not been negative so far. And I feel that there are some things that I did prior to relocation and after I got here, and like in my first 5 to 6 months, that helped me to settle easily, faster, and without messing up my mental health, that wouldn't cause me to feel lonely. And all right, let's talk about the first one. The first thing I did before I even got a job, before I decided on which country I wanted to move to continue my career as a nurse, I reached out to my friends who were living in different countries. I reached out to my friends in Canada. I have a video on this channel where I filmed with a Canadian nurse explaining how to move to Canada to continue your career as a registered nurse, because Canada was one of the countries I was considering. I also spoke to some of my friends who were living in Australia, because Australia was also another country that I considered. Then I spoke to people living in UK as well. And the person I spoke to that was living in the UK, shout out to Noella if she ever gets to watch this video. She was the first person I spoke to even before I started writing my exams. Now, Noella has been living in the UK. She lives in England. She has been living here for like 5 years. I think she's already a British citizen now. So I felt she would have enough information. And she had parents who are living here as well. So I felt she would have enough information. And one thing I kept asking all my friends who were living abroad, one thing I kept asking all of them was, tell me the truth. Don't lie to me. Like, don't sugarcoat things. If I'm going to move from my country to a place where I don't have family, I don't have like a lot of friends, like there's nobody that is going to be there to support me, that emotionally, financially, like I was on my own, like OYO. If I'm going to be taking that huge decision, I should at least know exactly what I'm getting into. So I was telling my friends, please tell me the truth. And I really appreciate everybody I reached out to because they did tell me the truth. And that was why I did something. The very first thing I did before leaving was to manage my expectations. See, let's assume that expectations, this is like high expectations, Abby. This is like average expectation. You can see the difference. My expectations were like this, like on the floor. I did not expect much. And I figured out that the reason I because I did not expect much from like any country I moved to. I didn't expect to see money on the floor and start picking money. I didn't expect to be able to like afford luxurious things in like just 6 to 8 months of getting there. I knew that okay, there were tax, there were bills to pay. It was not like just like a bed of roses that you just follow onto and everything just becomes perfect. Like you don't just drop at the airport and your life changes and everything becomes perfect. Because I had that expectation already, I wasn't shocked when all these things started happening, when tax started coming in, when people were like my salary will come, people take tax, I have to pay rent every month, I have to pay council tax, I have to pay this, pay that, and budgeting and all of that, which I also get to in the remaining portion of this video. The fact that my friends told me the truth about all these things, my expectations were down already. So I was able to manage that euphoria of, oh, I'm moving abroad, hey, everything is about to change, paradise, money, I'll buy a new phone, I'll buy car, buy house, glass house, this one and that one. I was able to manage all the expectation and be realistic, and I was able to come up with a plan for my first 6 to 8 months in the United Kingdom. So after doing my research, I finally decided to start my UK relocation pathway in, I think, late December 2022, and I got here like exactly a year after. Like I got to UK exactly a year after I took my IELTS exam. So I decided, okay, I'll pick UK because that was the country that I could afford. That was the country that their process seemed the most straightforward and easy to me. And this is a place that if I come here, there's still a chance that I will get to meet a lot of Nigerians. Although I had some reservations, I was low key hoping that I will not get a job in England. Now, let me explain. There are 4 countries, or even 5, because I'm hearing of one island. Is it Island of Man or something, or Isle of Man? That is like a fourth place when you're talking about, or fifth place when you're talking about the countries that make up United Kingdom. You have England, you have Scotland, you have Wales, and you have Northern Ireland. Now, of all these 4 places, England is the most expensive to live in. And places like London, Manchester in England are very expensive to live in. So as much as I was on the UK pathway, I was low-key hoping that I would not get a job in England, that I was going to get a job in somewhere like Scotland or Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland was like Northern Ireland was like number one for me because that was, I think, from my research, that was like the cheapest place to live in, and it would like you'll be able to pick up your pieces fast if you're an immigrant and you're starting from scratch. And I was also hoping for Wales. I didn't really know much about Wales because my research about Wales was not going through. I wasn't seeing a lot of videos or information about Wales. Scotland, yes, I knew someone that was already living and working in Scotland, so I was able to ask a lot of questions, and I kind of like understood the major differences in even in terms of bills, council tax, rents, and everything when you're comparing Scotland to England. And luckily for me, God did it in a way that I got a job in Scotland. And on top of that, the icing on the cake that God did for me was that I did not get a job in a big city. So I did not get a job in a city like Glasgow or Edinburgh. No, I'm not living in any of those big cities in Scotland. Just in case you are wondering, I do not live in any of those big cities. I'm living in a place where rent is like affordable, like very, very cheap. Rent is affordable, transportation, feeding and everything is affordable for a single person that is just moving from another country on a work visa, and like your salary without having to work overtime or extra time can still sustain you. So it was like soft landing for me. And that's one thing that I am grateful for. Not everybody is going to have that story to tell. Not everybody is going to have that type of experience. So bear it in mind now that if you're planning on relocating, if you're relocating to a big city or a popular place, it's most likely going to be an expensive place. Like cost of living is going to be very high. Your rent might be like more than 50% of your monthly rent, sorry, might be like more than 50% of your monthly salary, and you have to do extra time, overtime, look for other sources of income to be able to cope or to be able to like live the type of lifestyle that you want. So now that we've talked about expectation management, another thing that my friends did for me that helped me to settle well in the UK was that they told me some bitter truths. Some bitter truths. And see, having good friends, having people that can tell you the truth is important. It is very, 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 very important. If you have friends and these people cannot tell you like things that will make you uncomfortable without getting scared, you don't have good friends. My friend Noella took her time to explain how UK taxes were to me. And shout out to all my friends, I'll keep saying this. There are sometimes I'll call them to explain the same thing to me 3 different times because I just wanted to understand everything and know what I was getting myself into. So I told my friend Nuella, she explained to me how this whole 20% of your income, how you pay for they'll take out your income tax, they'll take out superannuation, they'll take out national insurance. Then when you get your salary, you have to pay your rent every month. You have to pay your council tax yourself. Then you have to pay for light. She was even explaining water bill, but luckily for me, I'm in Scotland and we don't pay water bill. Everything is included in our council tax. She explained everything. So immediately she explained those things, I went back to my contract. Like after I got the job, I went back to my contract and I removed the tax myself. One mistake I did not do was to convert how much I was going to earn. Like when I saw my contract, I did not convert how much was on that contract, the figures, to naira to make it look big. Oh, I'm a millionaire now. No, I removed the tax myself. How many percent was going to be superannuation? I removed it. How many percent was going to be like national insurance? I removed it so that I will know, okay, this is the exact figure that I'm going to have left after they remove all their gumbo tigo, all their removables after they remove it. So I was very realistic with my expectations. So I knew that at the end of the month, this was how much I was going to have left for myself as a person. So that would make me understand the type of house I would be able to rent and afford, the kind of places I could live in. So I came to UK with a lot of reduced expectations. I was coming with the expectation of sharing an apartment with somebody if that was what my salary could, take for the first maybe 1 or 2 years. I was willing to come here, share an apartment with somebody, or even live in the hospital accommodation if they were going to allow me. Like that was my plan. I wasn't planning on I came here already knowing that I may not even be able to afford to like live in a very fancy apartment. I had that expectation. So my expectations were well managed. So from everything they told me, I knew that I needed financial management skills, like serious financial management skills. And I also need to prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. See that phrase, preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. That was my motto when I was living in Nigeria. Because I knew that I was going somewhere that no parents, no husband, no kid, nothing. Or I'm going on my own, me, myself, and I. And I really do not intend to get support from people, even people that were my friends that are living here. They all have their own issues, they all have their own baggages and things to deal with. So I can't just come here and start loading my life or my burdens over another person. I had to prepare for myself. So I was really like mentally prepared for everything that was going to happen. And I started looking for financial management tips. And that was how I stumbled on some things like lifestyle inflation, stumbled on things like wants versus needs, budgeting, and all those things. And it's quite shocking how we don't really learn all these things in school. Tell me why I knew so much about the human body, medications, caring for patients, and all of that, but I did not really know how to manage my finances. Like I was not taught in school. Most of the financial management tips that I had straight out of school were things that my mom taught me. And like there was no day in school that they will sit us down as nursing students and start teaching us budgeting, lifestyle inflation, things you should not do, financial mistake, credit debt, credit score, those kind of things. And another thing you should understand is learn the difference between the system that operates in your country and the system that operates in the country that you're going to. Nigeria, where I'm from, is a debit-based system. In other words, you pay from your pocket for every single thing. You pay out of pocket. While here is like a credit-based system, you can spend the money that you don't have in your bank account and pay back later. Which, if you're coming from a debit-based system and you enter the credit system, You may run into debt and you will not know, because you would actually be living large. You'll be buying cars, going on trips, paying for buying the latest phones, buying the latest gadgets and all of that. Enter mortgage, buy out everything, and you will be in debt. And you will not know, because you feel like you're living large, you're living fine. So you need to like know the difference between looking rich and being rich. Like these are all the things that I had to like learn on my own. And all these things helped me to settle down. So here are some of the things that I did. Number one, I got an apartment that is 12 minutes walk away from the hospital where I work. So I can wake up 5:30, ready by 6. I can decide to even sleep back till 6:30, and I take a walk to work, and when I'm done, I'm back, saving cost of transportation and saving me a lot of things. Number two, when I moved into my house, I was eating home cooked meal all through. I wasn't eating out that much. That way, I could cut back on how much I was spending and save a lot of money for myself. Another thing I did was I did not buy things I did not need. Like I was able to separate my needs from my wants from the tips I got from all the videos I was watching. In other sense, if I don't need the latest iPhone, I am not going to buy it. At least I was saying, I would see things that normally I would, oh, this thing will look nice, this going to look nice, I want to do this thing. I'll keep telling myself, Mole, wait. Spend 8 to 9 months in this country first. Make sure you have money saved for emergencies. Make sure you have money saved for emergencies. Make sure your bills are paid. Make sure you have like maybe 1 or 2 months of your monthly expenses saved somewhere before you start buying anything that is not necessary. And anything that you cannot afford from your salary for the first 1 year or 1.5 years there for living in UK, don't buy it. Like it's something that I had to keep telling myself. Don't buy it. It's not, if you don't buy, if you don't buy, nobody will kill you. My friends are driving cars. Yeah, I want to buy Benz. You will not die if you are taking pause. No do pass yourself is a very important statement that Nigerians should live by, especially if you're just moving to a new country. Another thing I did not do was to start taking trips that were not necessary. I had to just tell myself, see, for the first early months, stick to the places that are around you. Stick to the places that you can take a train to, you can take a bus to. Start the exploration from the places that are around you. You don't have to go to France this first year of getting to UK. You don't have to visit Malta. You don't have to visit Bahamas. You don't have to go to Maldives. You don't have to go to Morocco the first year you get here. Settle, save for emergencies, and get used to the work you came here to do. So that was like the principle I was living by for the first 6 months. And it really, really helped me. And that's why I'm sharing this. So that, see, reduce your expectations. Be smart about it. You don't have to do everything. Okay, I've gotten to UK now. I want to go and draw tattoo. You will keep spending all your money, and you will not realize that you're living from paycheck to paycheck. And before you know it, you have collected credit card. And you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm building my credit score. I'm building my credit score. What are you building the credit score for? Because I want to buy a house, because I want to buy a car. Are you sure you're going to live in this country? Are you sure this is like where you want to live? Because if you are not sure that you're going to live here for the rest of your life, you shouldn't be planning to buy a house yet. Yes, real estate investment, you don't start everything, like you don't start everything in the first year. And it's so funny how I had to learn this thing from YouTube. Like, I did not learn it in school. It's so sad. And I think that's why I'm sharing this. So if you're moving, keep your expectations simple simple and precise for the first few months or a year. So in summary, my relocation experience has been positive so far because number one, I reduced my expectations. I didn't have exaggerated expectations and I was being realistic. But two, I stuck to a plan. Like I was on a plan. Like I didn't move out of my plan and I was very disciplined with it. That way I'll not run into debts and be unable to sleep and thinking, oh, I have to pay this one, I have to start picking extra shit and doing this one. Another thing that helped me, to be very honest, is that I am not living in a big city. I'll keep saying this again. I am not living in a big city where everything is expensive. And if I were to be living in a big city where everything is expensive, I am going to still live within, if possible, below my means. That's just it. The fact that you just got here doesn't mean that you have to start living alone. If you cannot afford it, share apartment. Nobody will beat you. Like, you're not, see, nobody cares. Nobody sees you. Nobody sees you. That, well, this is just my personal opinion anyway. Nobody sees you. You just have to like live within your means. So I guess I have my 6 months life update. Did I offend anybody? Did I ruffle any feathers? Well, these are just my personal tips, things that I did, why I felt I was able to settle easily. And I wish you guys all the best if you're planning on relocating to any country. Thank you very much for watching this video to the very end. Click here to watch the video where I explained how I relocated to Scotland, and click here to also watch my relocation vlog. See you in the next video. Bye!